You have been lied to about solar panels, not in a sneaky, hidden way. More like the entire industry just decided to point your attention at the wrong thing, and nobody corrected it. Here's the truth. The solar panel sitting on your roof is probably the least likely thing in your entire system to fail. And yet, it is the one thing that people spend the most time worrying about, researching, comparing, and paying extra for. Meanwhile, the things that actually break, the things that actually cost people thousands of dollars in lost energy and repair bills, those things barely get mentioned. So in this video, I am going to show you exactly what is killing solar systems across America, what the data actually says about cheap panels versus expensive ones, and the one decision that matters more than any panel brand you will ever find on Google. Because here's the thing. If you are about to spend $20,000 or more on a solar system, you deserve to know where that money actually matters. Let's get into it. So first, let me paint you a picture. Imagine you spend 3 weeks on YouTube watching solar panel comparison videos. You read forum threads at midnight. You make a spreadsheet comparing efficiency ratings, degradation rates, temperature coefficients. You stress out about whether to get the tier 1 panel or the slightly cheaper one from a brand you have never heard of. You finally pull the trigger. You buy the system. You feel good about it. Then, 4 years later, your system just stops working one day. Not slowly, not gradually. Just stops. The sun is out. It is a perfect day. And your solar system is producing exactly 0 kilowatt hours. And when the technician comes out to look at it, he does not even glance at your panels. He goes straight to your inverter, because that is what died, not your panels, the inverter. And this exact situation is happening to people all over the country every single year, because nobody told them where the real weak points in a solar system actually are. So let us start there. Let us talk about what actually breaks. Here's a number that should change how you think about solar panels forever. 0.05%. That is the annual failure rate of solar panels, according to a study from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, which is the main government research lab for solar energy in the United States. They looked at over 54,000 panels installed over a 15-year period, and that is what they found. 5 out of every 10,000 panels fail in any given year. That is not just low. That is almost nothing. To put that in perspective, your washing machine has a higher chance of breaking down this year than your solar panel does. Your car definitely does. Even your refrigerator is statistically more likely to give you problems than a solar panel sitting on your roof quietly turning sunlight into electricity. Solar panels are incredibly simple devices. There are no moving parts, no motors, no fluids, no mechanical components. It is basically a sheet of treated silicon sandwich between 2 layers of glass wrapped in an aluminum frame. That is it. And that simplicity is exactly why they last so long and fail so rarely. Now compare that to what the rest of your system looks like. Inverters fail at a rate of close to 1% in just the first 2 years of operation for standard string inverters. And research shows that roughly 1 in every 3 inverters will fail completely within 15 years. Your panels are designed to last 25 years, often longer. Your inverter? It has a warranty of about 10 years on average. Do the math. If your solar system is supposed to run for 25 to 30 years, and your inverter only lasts 10 to 15, you are going to replace that inverter at least once, maybe twice, during the life of your system. And a new inverter can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 or more, depending on your system size. And inverter failures do not just cost you the price of a new unit. When your inverter goes down, your entire system stops producing energy. Every single day it sits broken is a day you are paying full price for electricity from the grid. If it takes a few weeks to get a technician out and get a replacement installed, you could easily lose hundreds of dollars in energy production on top of the repair cost. Inverter failures alone account for 43% of all solar system failures in the United States and 36% of all energy that solar systems fail to produce. Nearly half of all problems trace back to this one box hanging on the wall of your garage or the side of your house, not the glass panels on your roof. But inverters are not even the #1 source of problems in solar systems. That title goes to something far less glamorous: wires. Specifically, the wiring and the connectors that run between your panels and everything else in the system. According to industry inspection data, wiring and connector problems show up in 83% of solar projects that get professionally inspected, not 83% of failed systems. 83% of projects, period. Think about that for a second. If you grabbed 10 random residential solar installations and had an expert go through them carefully, more than 8 of those 10 would have some kind of wiring or connector issue. Now, some of those issues are minor. A slightly loose connection here, a small voltage drop there. But some of them are genuinely dangerous. Here's an example of what bad wiring actually looks like in practice. Let us say you have a 40-foot run of wire between your panels and your inverter, and whoever installed your system used a slightly undersized wire gauge. Maybe they used AWG 10 when the job called for AWG 8. That one mistake, that one decision to use wire that is just a little bit too thin can cause that wire to generate over 100 degrees of heat at the connector point. Over time, that heat degrades the insulation around the wire. And in the worst case scenario, you are looking at a DC arc flash, which is basically an electrical fire that starts in the wiring of your solar system. This is not theoretical. It happens. And when a solar fire breaks out, it is one of the most difficult fires to extinguish because the panels keep generating electricity as long as the sun is out, which means the system keeps feeding the fire even as firefighters try to put it out. And here is the brutal irony of all of this. You could have the most expensive, top of the line, perfectly spec'd solar panels money can buy, and a single bad wire connection can make your whole system dangerous and underperforming. The panel brand does not protect you from bad wiring. Nothing does except a competent, careful installer who knows what they are doing with the electrical work. Now let us talk about something that is a little less dramatic, but probably costs more American homeowners more money than almost anything else in the solar world: shading. Specifically, not analyzing shading properly before the system gets installed. Here is how shading works in a typical solar system. Most homes use what is called a string inverter setup, which means several panels are all wired together into one long chain, or string, that feeds into a single inverter. The problem with that setup is that the whole string performs at the level of the worst panel in it. So picture this. You have 10 panels on your roof, all wired together. 9 of them are sitting in full sun, producing electricity at 100% capacity. One of them has a shadow across it from a tree branch or a chimney or a vent pipe on your roof. That one shaded panel can drag the output of the entire string down by 20 to 40%, not just itself, all 10 panels. It is the same idea as a highway during rush hour. One lane gets blocked, and suddenly every car behind it slows down, even the cars in the lanes that are completely clear. And here's what makes this even more frustrating. A tree that barely touched the edge of your roof when the system was installed can grow significantly over 5 or 10 years. That small shadow that cost you almost nothing in year 1 becomes a massive production problem in year 8, and by then nobody is looking at it because the system seemed to be working fine for years. Research backs this up. Studies found that the average residential solar system underperforms its rated capacity by somewhere between 10 and 25%, and shading is consistently identified as one of the largest single contributors to that gap. Meanwhile, you are probably still comparing degradation rates between panel brands, trying to decide if the difference between 0.4% annual degradation and 0.5% annual degradation is worth the extra cost. Let me put those numbers side by side for you. An unaddressed shading problem on a string inverter system can cost you 20 to 40% of your annual production. The difference in degradation between a mid-tier and a premium panel, measured over 25 years, comes out to somewhere between 5 and 10% of total lifetime production. The shading problem is 4 times worse, and it is invisible to most people buying solar. Now, I want to be fair here, because this video is not trying to say that all panels are exactly the same and none of it matters. That would not be true, and I do not want to mislead you. There are real differences between panels, and some of them are worth knowing about. The most meaningful difference is degradation rate. Every solar panel loses a small amount of its output every year as the cells age. This is called degradation, and it is totally normal and expected. All panel manufacturers account for it in their performance warranties. Premium panels from established Tier 1 manufacturers typically degrade at around 0.3 to 0.5% per year. Budget panels, especially from unknown brands with no track record, can degrade at 0.8 to 1.5% per year, sometimes even higher. Over 25 years, that difference adds up. A panel at 0.5% per year still produces around 88% of its original output at year 25. A panel at 1% per year is down to around 78%. And a panel at 1.5% per year could be at 68% or lower. That is a real difference. And if you have a large enough system, that gap in production over 25 years translates into real money. But, and this is the key thing I want you to hold on to, that difference only matters if everything else in your system is working correctly. If your inverter fails for 2 months and nobody notices because you do not have a monitoring system set up, you just lost more production in those 2 months than the degradation difference between a cheap and premium panel would have cost you over 5 years. If your system has a shading problem that cuts your output by 20%, the panel brand is completely irrelevant. If your installer put your panels at the wrong angle, even by 10 or 15 degrees, you are losing 10 to 20% of your annual production from day one. That loss dwarfs any panel quality difference you could have paid for. So yes, panel quality matters, but it is the last thing on the list, not the first. And it only becomes relevant once you have made sure that all the other, more important decisions are right. So what should you actually be thinking about? Let me walk you through the things that actually move the needle. The first is your inverter choice and warranty. This is the component most likely to fail in your system, and it is the one that takes your whole system down when it does. When you are shopping for a solar system, ask specifically what inverter brand is being used, what the warranty length is, and whether the company will still be around to honor it. Standard string inverters have 10-year warranties. Quality microinverters often come with 25-year warranties, which matches your panel lifespan. That warranty gap is worth paying attention to. The second is shading analysis. Before any system gets designed, someone should do a real shading analysis of your roof, not just a quick look on Google Maps. An actual analysis that models how shadows move across your roof throughout the day and across all 4 seasons, because shadows in December are very different from shadows in June. If your installer is not offering this, or if you are doing DIY and not thinking about it, you are potentially designing your whole system around a problem that is going to silently rob you of production for the next 25 years. The third is installation quality. The electrical work, the mounting, the connections, the sealing around roof penetrations. This is where the most problems actually come from in real solar systems. 83% of inspected projects have wiring or connector issues. Roof leaks from badly installed flashing are one of the most common and expensive problems that solar homeowners deal with. Bad crimping on connectors creates heat that degrades your wiring over years, slowly cutting your production without any obvious sign that something is wrong. The installer is not the flashy part of the buying decision, but it is probably the most important one you make. The fourth is monitoring. Get a system with real-time monitoring so you can actually see what your system is producing every day. This sounds basic, but a shocking number of homeowners have no idea their system is underperforming because they just trust that it is working. A study found that one homeowner went 2 full years without noticing that their production had dropped by 25% due to loose connectors. 2 years of paying for electricity they should have been generating for free. A $200 monitoring setup would have caught that problem in weeks. And finally, system sizing. This one is boring, but it is genuinely important. A system that is too small leaves you still depending heavily on the grid and your electric bills barely change. A system that is too big means you overpaid for capacity you will never use. Getting the sizing right requires looking at your actual energy consumption, understanding your local utility rates, thinking about whether you plan to get an electric car or add more appliances, and making sure the system design matches all of that. It sounds obvious, but incorrect sizing is one of the most common and expensive mistakes in residential solar. Here's how I want you to think about all of this going forward. Imagine you are building a house. You can spend a fortune on the most beautiful, expensive hardwood floors money can buy, and those floors might genuinely be worth it. But if the foundation of the house has cracks in it, if the roof is leaking, if the electrical wiring was done by someone who had no idea what they were doing, those beautiful floors mean absolutely nothing. The house is still broken. Solar systems work the same way. The panel is the floor. It is visible. It is the thing people photograph and show off and compare online. But the foundation of your system is the inverter, the wiring, the installation quality, the shading analysis, the monitoring. Those things determine whether your system actually works the way it is supposed to. Cheap panels from a reasonable manufacturer, meaning not some completely unknown brand with zero track record, installed by a competent crew with a quality inverter and proper wiring, will almost always outperform expensive premium panels installed poorly, sized incorrectly, or shaded by a tree that nobody bothered to account for. The data is not subtle about this. Panels fail at a rate of 0.05% per year. Inverters fail at close to 1% in the first 2 years alone, and 1 in 3 will be completely dead within 15 years. Wiring problems exist in over 80% of inspected systems. Shading can cut production by 20 to 40% in string inverter setups. And all of that was happening while you were reading forum posts about panel efficiency ratings at 11:30 at night. So the next time someone tells you that you need to spend more on panels to protect your investment, ask them what inverter they are recommending. Ask them what the wiring plan looks like. Ask them if they are doing a full shading analysis. Ask them what the monitoring setup is going to be, because those are the questions that actually protect your investment. The panels are probably going to be fine. If this video made you think differently about something you thought you already understood, there is probably a lot more on this channel that will do the same thing. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one.